Okay, so I should be streaming, technically. Technically. But I'm not entirely sure I am. Say again?
I said I sense a butt coming.
But I'm not entirely sure. So
Is your mic farther away than normal, or do you have it up? Sound distant.
Maybe.
Or is that just me?
No, maybe it's because it's using the array microphone.
You are live. You are live right now.
Oh my god. Okay, and how about now? Oh, do you mean in TeamSpeak?
Yeah.
No. So, if anyone watching the stream can tell me how I sound. New computer, so it's late. So, and I hear myself talking. So it should be okay now. It should be okay. It should be okay. If anyone's going to be joining it as well, I think I'm on version 2704, but, and here's the but, Iron Sheets will not have a normal map because it's trying to do a clean build at the moment, and clean builds take a long time. In fact, and it would be only on the beta branch. Ooh, we had a failure with the dedicated server. Nasty. But yeah, and it'll be on the beta branch. So, in terms of the stream, where are we? Pop out chat. So in terms of the stream, so there's been a lot of work happen today. Oh, I should tweet out. Got to do that whole social media thing, right?
You're definitely on the wrong mic.
Who is? Me? Oh, maybe for TeamSpeak.
For TeamSpeak, yeah.
Y'all. How about now? Hello?
Works, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Does it RocketWerkz? You walked into that one. You walked into that one. Does the stream even exist if it's not on social media? Good question. I like it. Right. So I'm all set to go. Got the game running. I'm not going to load a new world. I'm going to start a new world. So I'm going to sort of fire straight into it and cover off on some of the changes. So Simon and Kevin have been doing a lot of work on the terrain. We've still got a little bit to do, but basically now we have this, the smooth voxel terrain, and there's a lot of behaviors that happen with it. So you can see basically when there's ore, it sort of pops up the voxels around it. And we're going to do a big push on ore for the next week, the next sprint, so that we can add in like uranium that's glowing and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, item mining drill. I can't remember whether I showed this. Item mining drill. Item mining drill. Whoa.
Might the game be using the wrong mic, and it has a
bad
hearing or something?
You're right. Set as default device. Item mining drill. I might have to restart the game. Hold please. No, I don't want to save the progress. Let's try that again, everyone. Oh, is Twitch going to pick that up? No. I don't like the new... Oh, yeah, no, it did. I don't really like the new OBS. I don't like change. Let's try this.
That's why I'm an XSplit fan personally. No OBS makes me uncomfortable.
Item mining drill. Yeah, there we go. So this is a cool new little mining drill. Item road flare. Item road flare. Thank you. Just going to give myself a little bit of light here. And what I'm actually going to do, I haven't got it configured. Later on in the dev stream, I might actually configure it, show people how we make a mining belt. So that doesn't exist at the moment. But so I chuck a battery in this little chap here. I'm going to put that back in my belt. So I have the awesome little mining drill, and basically you see the little head there. So it's really efficient at mining, so I can carve myself out some terrain here like that. And I can go around, I'm going to mine up all this stuff and show off how we do mining. So I'm just going to, whoops, no, here we go. I'm just going to turn it off and drop it on the ground there. So dynamic crate building supply. Dynamic crate building supplies. Y'all can try joining once you've got 2704 if you want. I'm going to build myself a little platform here. So I'm not going to do a lot of what I did in other ones. I'm just going to build a smelter this time to show off the smelting process. So there was a heap of bugs that we discovered and smashed, which were really good to get fixed up. So Simon did a heap of work on the terrain with Kevin, threading it all, getting it working really well, and Scott has been doing heaps of stuff on the characters. So if people get in the game, we'll be able to see beards and hair. Looks really cool. So Peter did some really awesome stuff, and Scott's actually been working on a really cool character creation screen. So it's the screen that when you join a server for the first time and you don't have a character on it, you'll actually be able to create your screen. Scott had a cool idea to basically have almost like a mini little scene before you get in the game, as if you're sort of configuring your character, and you can choose whether you want them masculine or feminine. You can choose what hair you want on them and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be pretty cool. You guys getting the beta download?
I'm installing now.
Sweet. I just wasn't sure if, because I didn't actually deploy it to main. I just put it on the beta. So the furnace is pretty cool. So if I do item kit furnace. So actually, we'll chuck that down. Actually, what I should show off is the chutes. So for those who've played Space Station 13, oh my god, this is really going to get me going here. I just want to get rid of that little bit of S right there. So I'm going to do item kit chute. So these, at the moment, we've got them all like, a kit, so you can spawn different stuff and things like that. Oh, I've got it damaged, so I'm gonna chuck that in here. We found huge bugs, huge bugs. There was a massive bug with atmospherics that me and Joel discovered and fixed. Simon and Kevin discovered and fixed a really problematic bug with the terrain. So these made a huge difference, and we also had some bugs that were causing terrible performance, which got fixed as well. So now I'll explain these chutes. So the idea behind these chutes, and let's try it out here. So I will place down a couple of these. So I can have a junction here where basically it forces you can get two and join them together. So I'm going to place this like this, and I'm going to have it drop out the end, just so I can sort of demo before I get into what the, I guess, use case of this is. this. We'll do one more. Whoops. Oh, this chat. Forgot about that. We've got chat in there now. Which is kind of handy. Item kit bin. Item chute bin? I'm Ron Burgundy. So this is our little bin. So the idea of this is you pull this handle down and it will fire the stuff away, but it's got no power, so it needs power, and it sends it through here and out the other end. And if you put a junction, you could have two coming together. So you can use this for lots of reasons. You're gonna see how this is going to become important later. I guess, you know, primarily you can use it as a trash disposal system. You could use it as a sorting system. You could put a conveyor at the bottom here and tie it in with conveyors. At the moment, it only takes items. We might look at expanding that. Now, these don't have gas, and that was a deliberate decision, which will become more apparent later, but I will give myself some power. Item RTG. Item RTG. So we're going to cheat ourselves in some power here. Item cable coil. Item cable coil. So give ourselves some power here. So really, yesterday it was actually at the start of the day. It was looking a bit grim because we had a lot of these really nasty bugs. And when we discovered the atmospheric bug, it was probably the worst, like hardest to track down bug that I'd certainly encountered in the project so far. So it was pretty nasty. So you can see here, I'm going to turn my light off. So we've got a bin here. I can turn this on and off and see it goes down. So basically it plops the thing out and something will come out there. So if we do item iron ore, item iron ore. So if I chuck some ore in here and I close this, bloop, out it comes there. And if there was you know, interruption or something like that, it would plop out along there. So it's a pretty cool little system for dealing with a lot of the stuff that you need to do in the station. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to rip this up and we're going to start building a furnace. So a furnace is the first kind of use case for these, really, other than basically building a disposal system, which is handy in its own right, but realistically we need to do a little bit more. So I'm gonna now I'm gonna bring in the furnace and we'll see about constructing it. So if we look at the furnace object here, you can see that on the right there it has two output pipes, and on the top and bottom it has chute connections, and then it has a data connection at the top as well. So yes, so Jacob Sarks asked, do we use Unity's physics? We do. We're using Unity's physics. It's a lot easier to go with it than do something else. So basically, we're going to not fall in a hole. We are going to build this like right here, and we're going to build it there. So we can see this little furnace, and let's study it. So there's a little window here where I can see the contents, the little handle here that I can open and close. There's a pressure gauge, and there's an activate button, which you can see there's a little flash inside. So basically when I push this, it's like on your barbecue when you ignite a barbecue and that kind of stuff. So what we're actually going to do is we are going to have this so the output nozzle, actually I'm going to put it back a little bit. Whoop, plop, plop. Let's just have it. So basically when we put something, the output's going to come out the bottom, and we probably need a light on again, and the input's going to come in the top. So this is where you can basically, you might want to make this safe, and you might want to actually put this behind some kind of structure and then use the logic computer. And to see that, see last week's stream, like and subscribe, and so subscribe to my what is it called? Patreon or whatever. I don't actually have one. That was a joke. Pretty bad one. But yeah, so you might want to put it behind some really protective stuff, and then yeah, all that kind of stuff. So now what's going to happen is stuff's going to go inside there. Now how it works is, this is like a little furnace where we can concentrate gas and we can set it on fire, get it really hot and melt the iron ore. And I've fiddled with this quite a lot. I've been working on this system for a long time and I haven't quite got anything good. I've been fooling with the model and I just saw something I don't like, so we'll fix that later on. So now we have furnace input and output. And if your parents have like a log burner or you have a log burner, you'll know that basically you need to provide lots of oxygen, so you have to get rid of the exhaust. Now, another change we've done is we've ditched hydrogen for the moment, because hydrogen was producing a water which was just a pain. So now we're burning propane. So we're like Hank out of King of the Hill. Propane? He was a propane salesman, I'm pretty sure. So now what we need to do is get ourselves a good system for getting a fuel mix in. When I was previously testing this, and building it all, I used a pre-built tank. But the problem with that is, I think I've got the mixture set to 75 for oxygen propane. We'll want to fiddle with this a bit. So what I'm actually going to do is build a rudimentary mixing system. Actually, what I might do is just test. Where's that iron? Did it fall on the ground? Oh, it's really dark. I lost the iron. This feels so wasteful. Item iron ore. Got one there. So if I plop this in here and do this, look at the window, you can see there's now 50 iron ore inside this. Now, I'm not sure if this will work, but let's try it. It did work. Kinda. Let's just rip this up. Okay, so our iron ore is unfortunately stuck at the bottom. That's not good. Let's just try connecting this again. And let's try throw it in here again. I just want to double test this. Okay. This is not good. So unfortunately, our iron ore is coming out down there and I don't know why. Anyway, we'll sort of muddle on. What's going to happen if I do this? Oops. I can't remember whether I fixed this bit. I think I need to do this. I might not have configured this properly for non-smelted. So we'll just muddle on, and if I need to fix that, I'll fix that. So because I haven't really got it working for no chutes yet. It's going to be pretty easy to do that. Right. Some really weird chat messages going on here. I'll try and keep an eye on chat to answer questions as we go, because it does get pretty complicated. So dynamic crate pipe supplies. Dynamic crate pipe supply. And so what we're going to do, inputs at the bottom, we're going to get ourselves a couple of containers here. Item tank connector. So there was so many bugs we fixed, which was really good to get them fixed. And now we want a mixer, which I think we've used previously in some streams. No, so it activates a button, so it's like a sparker. So when you push the sparker, it ignites, tries to ignite inside the furnace. So let's go item pipe mixer. Item pipe mixer. Item gas mixer. Item gas pipe mixer. Oh, where are we? Let's just find it. The good old-fashioned way. wrong direction. I can't remember what this one's called. Actually, I can do this. And I can go mixer. It was the other way around. Classic, typical. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have these two gases come out like this. And we will be able to alter the flow. So that's mixer 2, that's output, and we've got a little window here. I probably need to tidy up the tooltips a little bit, but that's all right. You will all forgive me, I'm sure. It's not the worst thing I've done, at least according to the internet. Ooh, small challenge here. So if we did that, we'd be adding two tanks and a lot of pressure. So what I might do is move this one over and put a safety pump in, just so that we're not exceeding any pressure here. So let's plop that there, plop that there, and well, we can put this really high. Because I think I've got the pipes to 40 atmospheres at the moment. Whoa. Okay. That should be plenty enough. Wait a minute. I'm putting these both into the same thing. Why didn't you guys stop me? Oh my god. Crazy. Dean I have lost the plot here. Where are we? Where's my drill? This is pretty much like my room at the moment, just crap everywhere. So I'm going to grab my drill. This is a total cock up here. So I need to have one of these going in, and yeah, one going in each side. So I won't have a pressure problem. Silly Dean. I really lost the plot today. Probably need another coffee. So let's plop that one in there, plop that one in there. And where are we? Like this, like that, do-si-do, and this gives us our input pipe. And what I think we want to do is have this go around here. No, let's have it go down. So yeah, a few people I think have been asking questions about what the intent is of the game and like what you're trying to do. We've really tried to make it a much more about systems. You know, there's a lot of games that do a lot of what we do far better, like Space Engineers, Astroneer, and that. But we wanted to make this much more hardcore in terms of systems. So it's all about configuring these systems, and in many ways that can make it feel quite, I don't know what the word is, like sort of hardcore, like all the stuff you're having to do. So you can see a lot of, you know, it's not just sort of you build a couple of things, and bearing in mind that at the moment I'm magically spawning stuff, the next step after having made these smelters is to have it so you actually have to basically manufacture everything in here. So we're gonna increase this just a little bit.
I might need pump going to be enough?
Yeah, it was in my testing. The safety pump was plenty. I found it just a little better than the volume pump. I found with the volume pump things just got quickly overwhelmed. Not so much from a brake standpoint, although sometimes I did have the pipe explode, but just from you were just getting too much going inside the furnace and it was getting smothered. So we're good there, we're good there. Let's chuck down an analyzer so that we can tell what's going on inside here. And item RTG. Give ourselves a power supply here. These are kind of hacky cheat power supplies just for the moment. That,
User joined your
just
channel.
to make it easy. Man, I'm concentrating so hard. Oh yeah. So these all now have power, which is good. Turn this on. There's nothing in there, temperature 0. Nothing in there, there. So what we're going to do... actually, what I want to do... I need to get more gas, I think. I need to give myself a little bit more space. What am I doing? Oh, did I rip that up when I didn't need to? Dean, you pillock. What am I doing? Oh, I lost the plot. So, what I think I want to do, actually, is I want to have another safety pump so I can make a reservoir. And if I do that, it means that basically I can have a ready amount of gas if I want to vary that there. So I'm going to make a little reservoir here. Gotta watch I don't get too ambitious like I have on previous streams. It takes me like 40 hours to... Last time I think I was on Mars. Got a little carried away. Yeah. So this is going to be my reservoir, and I'm going to basically pump a lot of pre-mixed gas. Actually, I probably don't want to for the moment because I might want to vary the amounts. So I'm just going to leave that at a reasonably sane amount. And so what's that? 450. So we'll set this to 450 as well. Oops. Oh, I need to work on these tooltips. You can't see. Let's do it to 500. So these are both the same, so they'll pump stuff inside there. Whoops. I want to have an analyzer in here so I can... Oh, let's just chuck the analyzer here. We'll have an idea what's going through then. And gas mixer. So this is input and input 2. So on input 1, we'll put dynamic gas canister oxygen. Dynamic gas canister oxygen. Dynamic gas tank oxygen. Troll on me. No, get on there. Get. Go on. Yeah. I've been doing most of my testing in space, so it's kind of nice to come back. So we've got a lot of oxygen there, and now we want to get some propane.
Speaking of oxygen, you have a tear in your suit, good sir.
Oh, I do too. Will you look at that?
It was making me nervous.
What are my PC specs? Someone asked that. I don't know. This is actually a new PC I got at work. J-Rod would know the answer to that question. So this is input 1. I think Joel will remember this. I think I want to try 33% oxygen to propane. I think. So then let's look at this, and you can see, probably very hard to see on the stream, I need to tidy up these a little bit. But basically it's at 20 degrees Celsius, and we've got 33% oxygen, 67% propane. And that, whoa, okay, so Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. We got blown off the world here. This is bad.
What have you done?
Oh god. Step away for 1 second.
Oh, is
The
everyone
suit's
watching
proper
my
torn up.
propane? Yeah, that's the least of my worries, man. I'm completely out of propane. So, kind of ruptured a pipe there to an extent. Yeah, that
Kinda.
happened. Um, I don't know what I did. I did something. So, I've repaired myself. Let's go have a look at what's going on. And quickly, oh god, item gas tank nitrogen, item gas canister nitrogen. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, this is very bad. This is very bad. I might have to save this and do some.
Somebody please clip that. I need that in my life.
I don't know what I did. I did something bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to save this. And reload it inside inside Unity. Oh dear.
Can we try setting the beta to default? For some reason the beta branch isn't the correct version.
Okay. That save might be pooped anyway. I'll set the beta. The problem is, if it's setting the wrong version, it's probably... What version is it?
It's shown as 02, so it's 1 behind.
Right.
I mean, it says it's set as the beta. 04 is the beta, but when we
Yeah.
when we downloaded it, it's 1 old.
Yeah, I think the problem is, though, that means that... because it's still producing a clean build, so probably until it does that. Oh, weird. Okay, no, so it says... I'll set it to default. So 04 should be default now. Yeah. So unfortunately, what can I do here? What can I do? I will see if I can edit the save. I had a couple of other bugs as well. Snap client to terrain, and I think that was from... I'm just gonna try it. See what's the worst that can happen. So copy component, and where is my player? Okay. So I don't know how this is going to work. It may get a little bit nasty, but we'll have a look. Save it as having to. Oh dear. It's just... I don't think those matter. So we need to very quickly turn that off. Hopefully the stream is seeing the game. Yes, they are. I need to bring up the chat. Let me know if that didn't work, Mason.
It did not. Somehow it's even an older version now.
Yeah, there's not much I can do, sadly.
Doesn't make sense.
It's 2704 that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Steam says that it's deployed to 2704.
Yeah, Jared had it up. I don't know what's wrong with it. It's weird.
Yeah, that sucks. So what I did was I over pressurized with this, and I think this is going to be a little bit of a problem, but that's okay. All their stuff's like miles away. Oh dear. Okay, so I have an urgent crisis. And oxygen and stuff like that. So item duct tape. So what happened was pipe ruptured because obviously the gas mixer has no safety limiter on it, which I should have known. So what I can actually probably do is place down a logic computer to control that. So where are we? Let's grab this. Whoops. Blue, 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 blue. Get. So we are good there. And item pipe straight. Item pipe straight. So I'm going to place these down, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to turn this off. We're going to put a analyzer. Whoops, don't want to do that. Oh. Yo, Scotty. Yeah, it's pretty warm, isn't it? Yeah, it's really hot in our office. Scott's here, the legend behind the amazing face. If we get the build system sorted out, which I think Jared, are you looking at it? Jared's like, nah. Then we'll be able to show off the faces, and the hair and stuff like that. So I am going to go across here, and I'm going to build a logic computer. Item kit computer. So see, look at that. We need the computer, which is pretty cool. So we've identified a compelling need for the computer. So what we're going to want to do is make some logic that means that if this analyzer gets over a certain temperature, pressure, it will turn off this gas mixer. I think we're nearly out of gas too. Unfortunately, we bled away, wasted a lot of our gas, but oh well. Such is life. So let's turn this on. There's no motherboard. Motherboard logic. Motherboard logic. Logic motherboard. Motherboard logic. Just didn't like my Kiwi accent. So let's turn this on. So let's do this. So conditions, pipe analyzer, actions. Oh, no, let's do gas mixer. Gas mixer, power off. So let's just try, no, power on. If I do this, for some reason we're not in a state. I don't know why. If I take this in and out, hopefully it'll do it. Ugh. Bugs, I tell you. What about if I do this and do that? It's not setting this to current state, which is a problem. What we might do is try save this and load it. Have you tried turning it on and off again? Oh dear, that's bad.
So Dean, Johnny Oxide's been patiently asking a couple of times on whether or not you can connect a logic computer to a logic computer.
Yes, you can. You can connect a logic computer to anything. We're going to get rid of this because it's screwed up. I'm going to throw it off the edge of the world. Bye, logic computer. So we've got a few bugs to fix today.
From your channel.
Well, the safety bug pumps on the gas inputs won't really help us, unfortunately. So we've got a bug with the computer, so there's obviously a lot of stuff I need to fix up. What we can do is we can get rid of this, get rid of that, and you're kind of right though, actually. For the moment, if we we'll just sort of
User joined your channel.
just sort of mix some, so we'll get some through. We'll just sort of do it by hand. So there, we've got plenty in there that we can use. So we've got quite a lot of atmosphere in there, probably too much. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the exhaust. Now there's a lot of options you can do for the exhaust. You can do it the good way, and you can do it the lazy Dean way. So the lazy Dean way is that basically you just vent this out into the planet, because like climate change has already happened here, so what do we care? And so we are going to I'm going to get it a bit further away. Like last time when in my testing, I basically did it really close by, and I ended up setting everything on fire, which was suboptimal because she gets pretty hot. Let's do there. Item passive vent. Item passive vent. Someone's saying about the biters. So, oh dear. Okay, so yep, where this and that is flammable. That's flammable. So let's just turn this off. So we've got gas leaking out of in here. So there's nothing in here now. So it's all gone and dissipated. And what we'll actually do is we will reduce this, and we'll just start it up very gently just to get it going. So how much do we still have? A fair bit in reserve. Let's put a little bit more in here. We can really pump this pipe full. There we go. Let's just see if this saves now that I got rid of that motherboard. Hopefully it does. Yep. So lots of bugs for me to fix. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this up. It doesn't have anything in it. That's okay. Let's do this, and there we go. So she's warming up. Just a very small amount of gas inside there, so not a lot of pressure. And if we come over here, we'll be getting the exhaust. You can see it's very, very hot, but a very, very small amount of it coming out, but very, very hot. So the exhaust, and if we actually put an analyzer, we'd see that what's coming out is probably all pollutant, because it'll all be getting combusted in here. So it's a very, very small amount of gas. So we're going to, whoops, this could be bad. We're going to increase this, and oh dear, okay, so yep, we are going to set things on fire here. We should probably build a wall.
Don't say that.
Yeah. So let's just do this to protect ourselves.
Furnace looks super cool at night.
Yeah. So the color of that is actually based on the color that it is based on the clean burning rate. So how clean it's burning. So orange, it's not burning too cleanly. So let's use up all our gas here, which is going to take freaking ages. But that's all right. Like, it doesn't matter. So what we can do now is we can do item iron ore. Item iron ore. Plop this in here. And we've got 50 iron ore. And what I can do here is drop this, and it's actually making an iron ingot there. So it's actually making one, and it smelts all together. And when it either gets to the end or it makes too much for an iron ingot, it will pop out an iron ingot that's that weight. And then that will be used to go into a 3D printer. Scott had this awesome idea, which I think was a lot better than we were thinking about, to basically have a 3D printer now. There's a bug here at the moment, so it's stuck. It's stuck. I need to fix that. So let's do this. If we do this and this. Yeah, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Our iron ingot disappeared. I don't know where it went. Okay. Okay, well, we should have an iron ingot somewhere here. I swear it worked just before. We can test that one out. Yeah, I'm going to save this. And I'm going to restart it, and I'm going to load one I prepared earlier. Yes. And just see if it works. Furnace 2. I built this one in space. Space! So this one's got a big output. So if I drop this down, if it doesn't work, then I know it was something very recent I did that broke stuff. So this one doesn't have a mixer. It just it's just running from a tank of fuel. So if I didn't have it hot enough, the iron ore would actually just get spit out. But because I dropped the handle, I'm mixing the melted iron ore and actually filling up an ingot, which will get pooped out. So you can actually drop it in by hand at the top. Might disable that if there is a chute there. But you basically can use these chute things here to make kind of connected machines. And so, we see a lot of the stuff going to be functioning the same way. So the yep. Oh, so here we go. So I'm not sure why it wasn't working in the other one. So here's our little ingot, and it'll be doing the next one, but I might actually just stop that for the moment. So this is our iron ingot there, which we're going to be able to use. So where are we? This one, I didn't prepare that. This was just my pure testing one. So now if we turn this off and stop the amount of gas that's coming out, you'll see that basically the pressure will start dropping, and that beautiful glow will start to die, and that's based on clean burn rate. So how cleanly is it burning? The cleaner it's burning, the bluer the flame will get, as well as pressure and stuff like that. So you can see the pressure's dropping here and slowly going down. We don't have much gas in here, I think. Oh yeah, we've still got a fair bit. Yeah. So if I try to do this, actually that's a good question. What happens if I do this? Okay, so it's just pooped out the ore. It's just pooped out the ore. We're going to plop that back in. Come back, ore. And ore. Huh. So, I don't know why it's still glowing. It shouldn't really be. There's so many bugs. Let's turn on our light again. Oh, I took my helmet off. Mistakes were made. So yeah, someone asked, shouldn't the iron go into 3D printer Molten? Probably, but we wanted to be able, you to be able to manage the inventory and stuff like that. And we thought about having it make filament. Oh yeah, so it's gone away. It just had a little glow. I think I'm clamping it. Should probably not clamp that. So we could probably go into dev stream in a minute. I'm just gonna write these down. So, logic, motherboard. Not saving. And export. Chute. Not connecting. Three little bugs. So, yeah. See, we've only got the furnace working for ore at the moment, just because it's easier to do the smelting and stuff like that. And, you know, we want to add lots of new stuff to the game. So if I start this back up, turn on the safety pump, we're going to have gas flowing through, turn that on, it's going to start warming up. We've got stuff coming out there. Item steel sheets. Item steel sheets. Let's spawn some steel sheets. Throw these in here. And item wall kit. Item kit wall. We actually have some great new wall kit stuff that we want to put in. So I'm actually going to do this. Item glass sheets. Just to deflect this a bit. So that should keep. Actually, I think I might just put a top on here. That should keep the gas away from us, so it doesn't set any of the stuff on fire. So nice and hot in here now. Let's drop this down, and what it's going to do is if it runs out of iron ore, or it fills up the maximum size of an iron ingot, then it will poop out what's there. That's how I've got it working at the moment. Maybe, you know, do some more stuff in the future, but I think that's a pretty good way. Isn't it going to be difficult to place chutes and frames you've already placed? Great question. So what we've actually decided we're going to do, we're actually going to have an initial state of placing the frames where you can walk completely through it. So basically, if you need to do that, you'll deconstruct the frame enough so you can walk inside and place the stuff and things like that. So we should get a pooped out, here we go, pooped out iron ingot. So, you know, we could do some cool stuff here, like we can do this, because we don't want to lose our iron ingots. Item steel sheets. So it's pretty cool, because basically getting this done will be kind of the last step for us in actually getting, I guess, you know, real game going like that. So we're going to do this. I'm going to make like a little bunker. So item kit airlock. Item kit airlock. Damn. I guess it's, yeah, I didn't think about this. So I reckon if I place a window there. Oh, it should still be, yeah, so there's gravity, so that's good. Whoops. So it's not going to be sealed, but at least there's gravity. So now, if I dump some iron in, item iron ore. Item iron ore. So if I throw some iron ore in here, I throw some more iron ore in here, we will start getting iron ore happening. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to magic in a lot. So basically it should start pumping out heaps. So it does, and this works quite well. So let's say the power's off and I do this. When I turn the power on, it starts working and all that kind of stuff. So if you have interruptions to your power and stuff like that, you're still going to get a lot of stuff. So we've chucked a lot of iron ore in there, and what's going to happen is it's just going to keep pooping out iron, smelted iron and stuff like that. So you can imagine basically we could have a conveyor going, unloading some of your mining stuff, and then it will just poop out completed stuff onto a conveyor or something like that. So there's our first iron bar that's come through. Maybe it should be called bar rather than ingot. I don't know. Good question. So yeah, it's a really cool point we're at with the game, because this basically completes our whole game loop once we do this. So yeah. So yeah, we'll just leave that going there, and we will get ourselves and go mine some asteroids. Let's just check how much propellant we've got. Not very much. Item gas canister nitrogen. Item gas canister nitrogen. Oh. That's one way to ruin your gas tank. Let's throw that away. And what's that, door construction kit? Yeah, so we don't need that. We'll throw that away. And throw that away. So yeah, someone asked about double layering hulls. Absolutely. So you're really going to have to, the whole idea is to make it quite a complex system game. So you really have to think about how you're going to construct it all, and then also how you're going to upgrade stuff. You might need to depressurize stuff, and that's where you might need to bring in air scrubbers and air depressurize and a whole bunch of stuff like that. If you want to depressurize areas so that you can do all the stuff that you need and stuff like that. So it really is going to be a game where you have to think about that. So if you look at this now, I'm wasting all this. I'm wasting all this pollutant that it's outputting. So what I should actually do is be collecting that, because there's excellent heat from that, heat energy I can use. So I could actually take this and I could actually pump this through a turbine, and I could use that turbine to power the rest of the station. So you could think you could have multiple of these furnaces going that you're using to combust gas, and you're using that. Oh, so we're running out here. And so you're basically dual using it, but early on you're probably going to be a bit wasteful, going off to the space mall and getting this stuff and things like that. Dynamic gas canister fuel. Dynamic gas canister fuel. So you can see the furnace is dying down there. So we're going to give it a little nudge here. So now it should start to crank up again in a second. So we start getting some. Yeah, there we go. So just about went out. Come on. You can get it. It's slowly going up. So how much stuff? We don't have any in there anyway. Item. Oh, so see, so what happened was the handle was down, so it pooped out all our iron ore, which is really annoying. I think I can actually just do that. Yep. I can just plop it in directly. It's not as cool. I'm going to disable this. If you've got a chute, you shouldn't really be able to insert directly into it. It seems a little unfair. So that should be hot enough. You need to have a certain temperature and a certain amount of pressure, otherwise basically it just poops out the iron ore. Didn't realize that was actually working. So a lot of it's going to be about, and it's legitimate stuff in space, heat management. So this will actually output, it doesn't at the moment, but if there's an atmosphere, it will actually output a lot of heat into the surrounding area, and if not, it might actually overheat. So you'll need to actually keep the furnace itself cool and keep the room that it's in cool and stuff like that. So pretty happy with how that's going. So this should start pooping out iron ore. So we want to do. Do we have a battery in this? The battery's dead. Interesting. It says empty. Dean Hall investigates. It's not empty. Interesting.
Another Dean Hall mystery.
Another Dean Hall mystery. Right. What do I want to do? Oh, item mining drill. Item mining drill. Whoops. So let's go experiment with, I don't know how asteroids are. So most of the focus has been on, oh yeah, so we do end up with this a little bit, like asteroids inside asteroids, which is sort of hilarious. So I can go around here, and we're actually going to make, today actually I'm going to work on making a mining satchel. So basically in Space Station 13, if you have a little mining satchel on your belt, what you mine automatically goes into it, and that's what we're going to do as well. So basically, as you mine stuff, probably not with the pickaxe. The pickaxe is what you do if you basically are really desperate, but basically you use the mining drill and that kind of stuff. So I want to look for some iron here that we can throw in. I think I saw there was some here. Here we go. So at the moment I have to pick this stuff up, which is really annoying. And at the moment it's only also spawning one, so that's a bit sad. So there'll be a lot to get. Oh, that sun's brutal.
So while you're playing the role of space miner, have you got time for a couple more questions?
Sure, it's a good idea.
So you got asked earlier, is there anything that will be antagonistic to the player's progress other than the environmentals or the complexity of systems?
Absolutely. So we don't have anything in there yet. And so, I don't want to kind of promise too much, but the idea is that we're going to have AI that will be a little antagonistic. We're not entirely sure how that will function. It will be mainly focused on away missions, rather than anything else. Too crazy.
Way cool. No, sorry, go for it, man.
Oh, someone asked a question, are we going to start on a planet or in space? That will be an option for how people want to start. We'll probably provide some predefined starts as well. Some scenarios. That was an idea I got from Tynan Sylvester, who makes the amazing game RimWorld, when I showed him this back at GDC. There was a lot less to it then, but it was a good point. So we want to provide some good starting systems. Were there any other questions?
There were. There's a stodgy one and there's a fun one. Which do you want first?
I don't mind.
Okay, so the stodgy one was, which game loops do you reckon will be finished for early access? I know that's a big one, but I promised I would ask.
Enough for it to be really fun, really stable, really fun for a good group of friends. And so probably what that, at the very minimum, it obviously means all this kind of mining stuff, and it has to be fun, smelting it and all that kind of stuff. We haven't decided how much away missions will factor into it, so and exactly how the away missions are going to work. So that's an area that we're actually looking on at the moment. Tutorial is something that I'm sort of going to pitch that we look on for the next sprint, as well as the what is it? The 3D printing and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so we want to look at that as well. Those are the game loops.
And last from my list at the moment is, what's been the worst bug so far?
The worst bug was on Friday, or for me, actually I think we detected it on Thursday. and it was a crazy bug. That was my fault. I was setting a value with the gases, basically enthalpy, which kind of like is the energy released when it's combusted, as well as a specific heat, which is what we use together with the energy in a mole to calculate the temperature, was being changed each time you made a mole. So what it meant is when we turned the furnace on, the gas inside the canister would catch fire, and it was like, what? And it didn't make any sense, and it was very difficult, and it, Joel gave me a lot of help to have to tidy that up. So as an interest, it takes a lot of ore to make a 500 gram iron ingot, but I've only got 4 ore in there. But what I can actually do, I can just smelt it and see how it'll basically just produce a very small ingot. If you want to, less. So you can kind of make your decisions how you want to approach that and things like that. So we're going to make it so you can resmelt them as well. So there'll probably be like an input, you know, if you see on that contents, there'll be like an input and an output and stuff like that.
Ooh, space blacksmithing.
And, you know, we'll probably have it that based on some ores will require you to have very clean burn or specific gases coming through to make, you know, specialist, you know, materials to load into the 3D printer. So there'll be a, I guess some of your tech tree will be in terms of restricting you what materials you have based on the complexity of your systems. So to build to smelt more complex ingots, you'll need to have a more complex setup. You know, you might need to mix in exact mixes of kinds of gases and achieve particular ratios and things like that. So the idea is that you really do have a graduated approach to building your station. You start off by, like what I'm doing here, you might just say, bugger it, we're just going to vent this out. Or to be honest, you could actually fill up a room, and you could just fill up a room with that gas, but then it might blow up. Or fill up an asteroid. You could hollow out an asteroid, put a door on it, and fill it up with this gas. Because this is energy. This is energy you can use to heat your station. It's energy you can use. We haven't done them yet, but you know, heat exchange pipes. You could use that to heat your station. You can use it to this hot air to power your station, as I said before, by pumping it through a turbine. Get some more over here. Yeah, so it's a shame we've got some deployment problem at the moment, which means that we can't show you the faces, which is annoying because they look really, 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 really cool. So I haven't really worked too much on catastrophic failure for the smelter itself. What we'll probably do is have the ability for the smelter itself to rupture. Whereas you saw there is a way to screw it up at the moment with the pipes. Basically, if the pipes burst, things get very bad very, very quickly. What I didn't show, and I might just do it now, is how the junctions work. So if I grab this, whoops, item kit chute. Item kit chute. So if I do this, so what I've done here is I've done a junction. So items will come down here and go through here, and items will come down there and go through here. So if I, and actually just because I want to make it look cool. So, you know, this could be good if we had 2 stations that we want people to drop the ore off. So if you think about with your actual station, this could be really handy to have these, because you could have these on the outside of the station. People can put items in to send it through inside the station, rather than having to depressurize and go through an airlock. But it's kind of slow, so it's going to be a matter of balancing stuff, which is what we want to have. Oh, we're running out of gas, everybody. Move. I think I'm, oh god, let's grab it. Bye. Dynamic gas canister fuel. So that should carry on. So item kit bin, item bin, Item chute bin. Plop that guy there, and just so we can double check and make sure that this is actually working, which I'm pretty sure it is. Do we have cable coil around? Item cable coil. I want to give placement some love sometimes too as well. Get a lot of complaints about the way placement works. People are too spoiled with games like Space Engineers, tidying up their placement to be pretty awesome. So I got to power this guy, and where are we? Let's do it like this, so just in case we extend this later on. So this is like my testing world, so may as well. So we got power in there. Now if I put a junk item in there, we'll get stuck in there and I'd have to come in and remove it and stuff like that. So you can get stuff stuck in this quite easy, which I think is pretty cool. Item iron ore. So we should have 100 iron ore arrive. So you see how basically you can use these chutes to transfer all sorts of stuff around. So Flimflam just asked about sideways perspective being up and down. We actually deliberately locked the character to this quite early on, just because we found it was really problematic, and I haven't noticed it being a problem. This game is so much about the systems you build and the systems you do, and a lot less about sort of where you are, even though, you know, we want to add weapons, we want to add, you know, lots of stuff like that. So I think for the moment we're going to leave it like this, but vehicles probably will be able to tilt and go up and down, like the shuttle and stuff like that. So we'll sort of just see how it goes. But yeah, happy to take any more questions, otherwise I'll probably bounce. One thing I really like, and one thing was very important, is we wanted to make the smelting process extensible. Let's just have a look here. What's this? Weird. No. Okay, it's still working. So we wanted to make it really extensible and interesting to basically smelt stuff, so that you can come up with much better, more complicated ways, more efficient ways to do stuff. And it was something I really enjoyed about Factorio, being able to get the satisfaction of being able to make really efficient systems, although I can never make systems as efficient as what Mason was doing. So yeah, and being able to build an automated system and watching it work and then having it go wrong and explode everything everywhere like we saw earlier in the stream. So yeah, were there any more questions, Will?
There was one that got asked a couple of times, which is, are we considering to add any firearms to the game?
Yeah, so we are looking at doing that. We nearly started doing that, but we decided to go in and fix bugs because the bugs were getting pretty crazy. So
I know both Joel and Stian have made some incredible, like, massive pressure cannons, which have been cool to watch. But
yeah, definitely. So we had just massive bug fixing in the last week. It was actually quite lucky that this came together. Yesterday it looked a bit grim, so it really came together. I was still working on it just before the stream, which is why we were a little, well, that, and I just got a new computer, so having to get OBS installed and stuff like that. So we will be chucking this up on YouTube as well, so people can see it. But I find the smelting quite satisfying, and I think when we get other systems in, I think it will be really good. Boop. Just pooped out some iron. And it took a lot of iterations to get the furnace to where I liked it, because you don't want it to be too automated. You want the satisfaction of doing it yourself. The way the input and output work, I'm quite happy with, because it's quite intuitive. So what happens is the input tries to equalize itself with the pipe that it's connected to. So the interior of the furnace tries to equalize it, but it can't backflow. so it can only flow in. And then, actually, I think first it tries to equalize the output by sucking out, and it will always prioritize sucking out exhaust, so basically propellant. So it will try and equalize by filling up with propellant in here. Then fuel, it is possible it would get through, but the fuel burns so efficiently, unless you have your mix really bad, it should basically all get combusted. So it does mean that you could have a danger if you set it up wrong, where you're actually outputting fuel and it could combust in the pipe and explode and all sorts of stuff like that. So I think it was a good balance of how everything was come together. Now I could connect this up. This is actually power and data. It's probably just going to be data because this is unpowered. Maybe I'm still toying with whether to make it powered. But and that means you could control it from a logic computer. So you could, for example, set it up to once the smelter gets going, pull down the arm and stuff like that. So it's quite cool. You'll be able to set up set it up to a logic computer once I unbreak it again and get it going. So someone asked, would you be able to make a sorter system for the chutes? Yes, I think we were going to do a sorter system on the conveyors. In fact, we already have them on the conveyors. So yeah, so I think that's an option too. I see the conveyors as being useful because you'll be able to see the items, which can be quite important, whereas you can't see them in here. Also, the conveyors work with the motion sensors now, whereas there's no sensor at the moment to detect if something's going through. So yeah, so I think that's what we'll look at doing. So yeah, well, I think if there were no other questions, I think we can probably call the stream.
Well, if there were any burning questions that people have, please head onto the Steam forums, head onto Reddit, or come see us next week for the next stream.
Yeah, so I think the next stream, we'll need to talk with the team about what we want to do for a sprint. But I think it's probably going to be focused around the 3D printing idea Scott had, which was a really good solution to a problem we had about basically how to build stuff and stuff like that. Oh, there was another question. So what are they saying? Ladders?
Oh, Knight was asking if we're going to be hitting the late July early access.
I don't know. I'm not sure. You can see in the streams it's starting to come together. A game loop that is essential is the ability to manufacture stuff. Without that, it's just like creative Minecraft. And I think that a strength from the game will come from having a reason to build this stuff. So, and that is a game loop that it looks like we might complete next week. I think Kevin is going to look at, particularly when Shin's back as well, is look at the instancing that would enable away missions. I think if we can reach a fun level without the away missions, we could have it that that could be something that we might want to do. So we'll sort of look at that, and if people have thoughts and ideas, then they can post them. The character customization stuff that Scott's been working in is just absolutely awesome. So that's allowing people to have like different hairstyles, different beards. So that's actually already in the game. Scott's just been working on a really cool scene to make that, which is going to be really awesome. Did I miss any other questions? I don't think I did. So yeah, I guess that's a roundabout way of saying we're still not too sure about the early access date for, we won't promise anything until we know for sure that it's going to be good. And enjoyable. We'll just delay it and delay it and delay it until it's at the point it needs to be, both in terms of performance and functionality. Probably our biggest problem at the moment is getting enough game loops completed for it to be enjoyable. And it would be terrible to have it released now. We're breaking saves all the time. The people who are on the closed test probably get very frustrated, as basically we destroy the saves constantly. Speaking of which, I'm going to save this. I'm going to use this as my test. Yeah, so no more questions. Thank you everybody for joining the stream, and we'll see you next week, same time, exactly same time, 1 p.m. New Zealand time. Oh, I think, did we run out of gas? Yeah, we did. We've only got a very small amount of gas coming out now, so I guess it's a cool way to end the stream. You'll see the furnace slowly going down. So thanks everybody for joining the stream. Goodbye.
Bye.